Vamos a presentar a nuestro primer ponente del día de hoy. Él es Henrik Beermann, ustedes lo conocen, ¿verdad que sí? Carlos me dijo que ya como lo conocen de hace 2 días, vamos a ver la parte del perfil. Él viene el día de hoy con la ponencia titulada Sustainable Value Mapping for Circular Business Thinking. Con ustedes, Henrik Beermann, con esta primera ponencia.
A warm welcome from our side. I'm happy to give the first presentation here today. The purpose of this presentation is to move a bit from these questions of what could be done in order to cause a change to how we could do it. During the last days, we received a lot of presentations of strategies for a circular economy, and I want to present you a tool that might be helpful in order to relate these strategies to the context of your organization and identify opportunities to apply these strategies and rethink the business model that your organization applies. I will start with these drivers of change, keep it brief, we discussed it, all of us. It is a mixture of technological and societal factors that allows us to make use of new business strategies and models for a circular economy. So what is a circular economy? I like this definition because it stresses the collaborative aspect of making change. An economy in which stakeholders collaborate in order to maximize the value of products and materials, and as such contribute to minimizing the depletion of natural resources and create positive societal and environmental impact. So what we intend to do is to reduce the use of resources in a way that allows us to be profitable, which is the basis to scale up solutions to an extent that really make an impact and create a change. During the last 2 days we heard a lot of strategies. This is just a summary of these strategies. We can slow down resource loops by maintaining, repairing, reusing, refurbishing and remanufacturing products. We can close loops by recycling, reducing waste, composting and cascading, and we can narrow down resource loops by reducing the resource use per product, by reducing the resource use in the production processing. One thing that I do think is important is that a lot of the presentations, as I said, have been on a strategy level, rather abstract. And the purpose is, of course, to inspire and to give us an idea of how which changes would be possible. But then the question pops up on how to apply this to our organization. And then we move from this general planning level to the architectural level, the architecture of our organization, the DNA of our companies. And that is then the basis for implementing it in the business processes that make up our organization. And this is just another way of saying what I just said. Huh? We start with these problems of environmental degradation, which are obvious. The world is urbanizing more and more. That causes regulatory changes, hopefully, which are then the basis to promote technological advances, enabling these new strategies. And then comes this very important question of how to make use of these strategies in the context of our countries, because what we present here that should not be forgotten are a lot of examples that come from a context that is very different from this context. The question is how the solutions can be adjusted in order to fit to the needs of the Caribbean, to fit to the needs of the Dominican Republic and create positive societal change here. So what is a business model then? This is a very common definition coming from Osterwalder, who says a business model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. This is, in other words, an abstract conceptual model representing the business and money earning logic. And this business model is some sort of the glue, the connection between the strategy and the processes applied within an organization. What is very common nowadays is to describe business models on the basis of a business model canvas. And the business model canvas, at the end of the day, is a classification that shows the key building blocks of this logic, of the rationale of an organization. I like this visualization because it is a bit different. The conventional business models and conventional business model canvas focuses on value and financial value, only financial value, delivered to customers. But an organization can create more than financial value, and an organization impacts on more stakeholders than simply the customers. I will not go through this in detail, but I do think very important building blocks are, of course, the value proposition. What is the value that I deliver? How do I do it? The value creation processes. How do I deliver this value to my peers? And how do I how do I gain from that? How do I make money from that? How do I capture the value that I deliver? In the following slides, the focus will be on the value proposition. So what is a value proposition? Again, this is an orthodox approach here that says a value proposition describes the benefit of a customer and a business partner, a customer or business partner might gain from their relation to a particular business. It describes the bundle of products and services that create value for particular customer segments, and it may be innovative and represent a new offer. In a way, this slide is not in line with what I said before, because it talks about customers and it talks about financial value. But this is how it is still taught within the university where I work, and I'm struggling there to adjust these slides in order to move away from a sole focus on customers as the only stakeholders that is in your interest, and move away from the focus of financial value that you create for them. But this is the conventional way. And then the question is, when you have an organization that works in a particular context, how could you have a look at the value proposition, the mission of this organization, and analyze this value proposition in a more holistic way, taking into consideration other stakeholders and customers, taking into consideration other values and solely financial values. In the middle, this image should represent the value proposition of a company, and we can ask, well, despite the fact that we actually make money, do we also destroy values for those affected by our business practices? Do we miss values that we could capture? And once we analyze that, can we use that as a basis to identify new value creation opportunities? Here's an example for what I mean. When I say value destroyed, of course I would refer to negative social impacts, the depletion of non-renewables and environmental damage, which might be reconceptualized as destroyed or missed values, underutilized assets, underutilized capacities, overcapacities, failure to capture value, or waste streams, which in our linear system are dumped, but on the other hand, as we know, could be a valuable resource for an input in a circular economy, and which opportunities for new value creation emerge out of that. What are new forms of value for the existing stakeholders, which kind of value can we create for new stakeholders? Just an example, of course, it comes from Europe, it needs to be referred to your context, but I like this example. This is I think it's a Danish company called Witzel, and they said, okay, we live in the age of IKEA, and what does that mean? People used to buy furniture and then use it for, what, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, until it's destroyed and it's done. If that's a right way of, dealing with furniture, when I look back at my grandparents, they have furniture which is 150 years old, it's 100 years old, it's old, and it's good, it still works. No? But after 4, 5, 6 years, it's not possible anymore to use my IKEA furniture, especially when you move sometimes, you build it up and down, and it's destroyed. So, in fact, what we promote by this way of doing business is a throwaway culture. Right? And what is the value missed? The value missed is that you create a long-term relationship with a company attached to a product and use customers as ambassador. If I have a product that I don't have to throw away, and the company where I bought it offers me the service to repair it, and if they do not change the design and the look of this furniture every year, but they stick to it, that allows me to stick to it as well. So a timeless design, a good service in renewing and refurbishing this product allows me to stick to it as well. And also, it creates a long-term relationship with this particular company. So the solution is, in a way, sufficiency. Because what this company does is they say, we apply a completely different approach. Our products are expensive. However, you have a lifelong guarantee on these products. And once somebody buys our product, he becomes part of our family. And he will come back to our company again and again and again. So what they encourage people to do is not to buy a lot. They encourage people to buy a little bit and do it step by step. And build up your stock of furniture by time and become part of this Witzel family and create a long-term relationship. That's a completely different model. And now I come to this tool. This is a value mapping tool. I present it here to make you think whether this could be applied in your innovation management courses or in your business schools or whatever. This value mapping tool is basically a systematic step-by-step approach where you start with your unit of analysis. It can be a product, it can be your value proposition, it can be your company, can be whatever, and then you would, in the first step then, decide which stakeholders are in your interest, and you move beyond this conventional notion of stakeholders that are relevant for making profit, but you might integrate the environment, you integrate the society as a whole, and so forth. That is what you would decide. Yeah? And then you would start to map the values and ask yourself, okay, with this, let's say, value proposition, which value do I create for my customers? That is very clear. But which value do I create for the society as a whole? Which value do I create for the environment, for my shareholders, for my stakeholders? And that is the first brainstorming session. That is the inner circle here. And in the next step, you would ask yourself, okay, but with this value created, what is the value that I destroy for these stakeholders? Huh? And then you come to a point where you would ask yourself, with this value is destroyed, can it be reconceptualized as value missed? Is that possible? To then, in the last step, try to come to value creation opportunities. And these value creation opportunities are then the starting point to relate the strategies that we heard of during the last days too, and think how to redesign your business model. This is just a big image. I think all these presentations are uploaded anyway, so then you could go through it. There are several papers on this available that describe it in a bit more detail. Just to the applicability again, this can be related to a product, to a business unit, a company, an industry, maybe to yourself. You work, you as an entrepreneur, you start a business. But what does it mean? It most probably means that you work 14 hours a day until this business is running well. So that might create a positive financial income, this value proposition, but that definitely has an impact on your peers. You don't see your kids anymore. And so on. You could use this tool for very different purposes. One thing that I want to stress is that we have to think carefully about the stakeholders that are affected. The stakeholder landscape of a company might be way more complex than it's usually seen. Right? And there are stakeholders that are affected indirectly, like environment, like local institutions, like second or third tier suppliers that you work with, your workers, or maybe even the family of your workers that are affected by the way the work is done within your particular company. And then the process would simply be, as I said, you map the various forms of value, you follow the spiral clockwise and outwards, determine the current value captured for each stakeholder, determine the value destroyed, determine the value missed. This is an example for a stroller where this has been done. It is way too complex and too small to go through it again. You could look at this in the presentation after it is uploaded. But I did this exercise now several times. It's a rather new tool. I did it with some students. And it worked quite well, to be honest. When you have students that have a business idea, they have a business plan, they want to do something, and then you can really sit together and say, okay, let's analyze this from a circularity, sustainability viewpoint and see how we could improve your business idea to retune, to fine-tune your business model. And then as a last step, I would say, after fine-tuning, after identifying opportunities, relating strategies to it, of course, you could use this business model canvas in order to capture the main ideas and summarize it. And I do think that this is what happens later on today. So we will have a session, round tables, where we sit together, use this business model canvas as it is, relate, and that is what you have to do, relate your own context to the input that you receive from us and see what could be done. And you can relate it to your own organizations, to your company, or you can come up with new ideas of doing business. And this is it from my side. As I said,